Hey guys, welcome back to another Blender modeling practice video. In this one, we're going to model a screw from start to finish. We'll be trying to keep everything clean with proper all-quad topology and go through the entire process, including the screw head as well as the threads. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right in. First, let's start by adding a circle. Then go into edit mode. Now by selecting the full circle, go over here and choose grid fill. Open the corner panel over here, and from the top view, try to align these edges straight. Also check this simple blending option so it looks something like this. Now here, select this middle vertex over here, then enable proportional editing, and over here, choose sphere so we get that nice spherical round shape. Now from the front view, move this up and try to adjust the fall off using the scroll wheel and shape this nicely, something like this. Okay, so this looks fine. Now here, let's add the plus shape for the screw head. So select these edges over here, then bevel them like this. Or you can also select those faces and inset them. You can use either way. We'll also delete this side part and keep this small section to make the job easier. For the other side, we can simply use a mirror modifier to mirror the rest of the shape. So let's add the mirror modifier now. Now here, use the knife tool like this to fix this geometry over here and dissolve this edge. And on this part also, do the same thing how we did there. Now select these faces, then extrude them down. Turn off proportional editing, then press SZ0 to flatten this area and just position this properly. Okay, so this looks good now. Now here, let's bevel these edges over here to keep this part sharp. We're not going to bevel these edges over here because that area is not completely sharp, it's slightly rounded. And the side edges will keep them tight so it doesn't become completely rounded. But in case you model a screw that is very sharp, I'll show you by beveling that too. So let's bevel this, then make the profile shape 1. And over here, choose arc to make the corners more rounded. Now after beveling, this corner looks something like this, and we'll have to manually fix this with the knife tool. So to bevel this properly, also select this edge over here before beveling, and then bevel it like this. Now here, join this arc edge, then select these vertices. Before that, first turn on auto merge. Now slide this vertex and merge it over here, and slide these vertices a bit to space them nicely. And here we can connect this arc part like this. Now, after adding a subdivision surface modifier and also shade smooth it, this looks something like this, nice and sharp on that part. But here, we are not going to bevel those edges because we want that part to stay rounded, so undo this and unselect those edges. Now again, bevel only these edges, then add a subdivision surface modifier, and also shade smooth this, and now this looks really good. Now here, we can add a loop cut like this, and then press W or right-click the mouse depending on your settings, and over here, choose Set Flow to curve this. So what Set Flow does is it automatically matches your new loop to the surrounding curve, so you don't have to manually tweak the vertices. This feature comes from the free Edge Flow add-on. To enable it, go to Edit, Preferences, then in the Extensions tab, over here, search for Edge Flow, and install it. Then you can select that edge loop and use Set Flow. Now over here also add another loop and again use Set Flow. Now select these vertices and join them. Then just slide this vertex slightly and while sliding press Alt to keep it locked along the edge. Then dissolve these edges and now this looks fine. Now let's extrude this part downward. So before that, let's apply the mirror modifier. Now extrude this edge down and position this nicely. Now here, add a loop cut in the middle and scale it out slightly. After that, let's bevel this to curve this part a little. You can notice it goes outside the boundary. So to fix that, enable clamp overlap over here, and let's make the profile shape 0.5. Now this curve looks fine. Here, let's bevel this edge to keep it sharp. And here, the bevel is a little different, as you can see in the reference, so try to bevel it this way, like I'm doing over here. And now that's good. Now at the bottom, let's extrude that. So let's extrude and scale this edge inward. Okay, so till here, this looks good. Now let's extrude downward a little. And here, add 2 loop cuts, then bevel this edge to keep this part sharp. Okay, so now this top part is done. Now let's create the threads down here. So for that, first select this vertex, duplicate that, and then separate it by selection. Now go into the separate piece, select that vertex, and extrude it downward slightly while keeping an eye on the height of the threads. Now here, Control R and add 3 loop cuts. Basically, it will add 3 vertices there. Select both of these vertices and then scale them on the Z-axis to widen them a little. Now select this middle vertex and move it outward. This is to get that thread profile shape. Now let's add a screw modifier. Move it above the subdivision surface modifier. And here we want 32 segments because the original circle we used had 32 vertices. And in wireframe mode, you can clearly see how many segments there are. Now here, adjust the screw values. And to get the perfect value so it merges perfectly over here, what we can do is press N to open the side panel, and here we can copy this Z dimension value. But before that, make sure you turn off the screw modifier or else it will count that dimension too. Now copy that value and paste it into the screw value. And when we enable it again, it merges perfectly. Also, check merge so it welds the geometry together, and make sure you apply the scale because sometimes the screw modifier doesn't behave properly otherwise. Now add the number of iterations over here. In the reference, the thread angle goes the other way around, so to do that, just add a minus sign before 360 here, and that will flip its direction correctly. Now add the number of iterations, and I found there are around 10 here. So let's use 10. Now just scale these threads inward a little so they become slightly smaller and narrower, so move that edge inward to do that. Okay, so now this looks good. Now let's apply the screw modifier, select the full mesh, then press M and choose by distance to remove overlapping vertices. Now let's see how to do this part over here. So for that, select this full edge loop, then unselect these edges. Now extrude this downward, then press SZ0 to flatten this. Select both of these vertices and press M, then merge them at the center. Now slide and merge this vertex over here. Select this and fill this part. Now here we can press Alt-S to move these vertices slightly inward. So from the bottom view, let's move these vertices inward one by one to shape this and curve it slightly. Okay, this looks fine for now. Now, dissolve this edge. Then here, let's scale this edge inward to slope this part slightly. Okay, so this looks good. Now to fix this geometry over here, add a loop cut here. Then connect these vertices like this. Now over here, add a cut. Then with the knife tool, add a cut like this over here. Join both of these vertices. Then with the knife tool, add a cut over here like this. Now dissolve this edge. Then slide these vertices a little. And this looks good for now. Now here, select and extrude scale this edge inward. Then use grid fill. And over here, align the edges straight. Now let's bevel this to keep it sharp. And here we can also add a cut. And this looks good for now. You can also bevel this full edge loop to keep it sharp if you want. But we're not going to bevel it here. Now we'll do this top part here. So here, do the same thing like how we did at the bottom. Extrude the edge and then flatten it. Here we can dissolve this edge for now so we can work properly here. Then here, do the same thing, merge these vertices at the center and then slide that. Then use Alt-S, move and curve this, same way like how we did on the bottom side. Then again, add those loop cuts, and here, join them with the existing edges. Now select these edges and fill this hole. Dissolve this full edge, and then add it again nicely. Then join these vertices. Slide and space them nicely. Here also join these. Then with the knife tool, add cuts the same way how we did at the bottom. Slide these vertices a little. Dissolve these edges. And now this is done here. Now unhide that top screw head mesh, then join the thread mesh to it by selecting the thread mesh first, then the head mesh, and press Ctrl J. Now delete this edge. Then by selecting both of these edges, go over here and choose Bridge Edge Loops. Here the mesh is looking weird, so select everything and press Shift-N to recalculate normals. And now that looks fine. Now bevel this edge to keep it sharp. Add a cut over here. And now this is done. Now here, what we can do is we can dissolve this edge here. Then add the edge back again nicely. And then join them like this. And that looks okay now. Here you can also slide the vertices slightly. And here too, you can use set flow to make this nice and smooth. And now this is done. All right, so we've finished modeling this screw completely and hope you learned something useful from this. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, comment below and share your feedback. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.